Conference championship hopes are still alive for the Owls. See how Temple picked up 7th win of the season against Tulane.
And I'm Trey Petrarca, live from the Lear Core Center. Find out what Coach Aaron Mickey has done, what no other head coach has been able to do in the last 77 years of men's basketball in North Broad.
Plus, one Temple golf alum had the chance to advance to one of the most prestigious tournaments in the world.
But instead, his 8-foot putt on sudden death hole qualifier became a viral moment and a national story. OwlSports Update is live and it starts right now.
What's going on, Owls fans? Alongside Adam Crognally, I'm JJ Mahowski, and we have an action-packed show for you.
Men's and women's hoops, volleyball, and a hug from a former Temple golf star that's gone viral. But first, let's head to the gridiron where the Owls have a must-win game on Saturday. Cincinnati week is finally here. For the 4th time this season, the Owls will face off against a nationally ranked team. And this one could be the toughest. 17th ranked Cincinnati has only lost one game this season, and it was on the road against the nationally ranked Ohio State Buckeyes. The Owls will still have a shot at the conference title if they win out and get some help. But the players are only focused on going 1-0 this week, which will be tough enough with this one.
We're just going to play hard, try to be physical. Cincinnati's a great football team. We know that they're not 9-1 for no reason, so we're just going to go out there and we just have to really execute our plays, and I feel like we should come out on top.
We know that we're good. I know they know that we are too, so got to carry it the same with any other team. Just got to capitalize, build from mistakes from each game, and go into it the same.
They'll put the ball in the air a couple times. You know, they got a good quarterback back there, but, you know, it just everybody just has to lock in, do their job, be what they're supposed to be, and you know, we'll have the same result we did the last 2 weeks.
Here are the only two teams riding a win streak in the AAC East Division. The Bearcats, who are undefeated at home, have won 8 straight, while the Owls will look to break their 500 record on the road for the better.
Cincinnati's only loss came at the hands of number 2 ranked the Ohio State Buckeyes. That was a 42-0 shutout back on September 7th. The Owls are the clear underdogs here. ESPN's matchup predictor gives Temple a 13% chance of winning. Now let's take a look at AAC conference standings. The West is currently a 3-team race between SMU, Memphis, and Navy. Right here you see their overall records, but all 3 of those teams tied at 5-1 in the conference. Temple currently sits at 4-2 in conference play, and for the Owls to have a shot at playing for an AAC title for the first time since 2016, they need a win against the 17th ranked Cincinnati Bearcats on Saturday night. A win this weekend keeps tiebreaker scenarios in play that could potentially lead to a 3-way tie at the end of the season between Cincinnati, UCF, and Temple. A loss for UCF or Temple eliminates them from contention. And regardless of this Saturday's game, we do know the Owls are bowl bound. So Adam, let's talk about where the Owls could end up going bowling. I think Temple ends up returning to the Boca Raton Bowl. Temple has gone down to a bowl south 3 of the last 4 years. Boca is where consecutive bowl appearances started for the Owls, and at least an 8-4 record is enough to warrant a trip to the Sunshine State.
My pick is the one location you just mentioned, JJ, that wasn't down south, or at least not as down south as the other bowl games. I'm talking about the Military Bowl. An advantage for Temple fans with this location is that they could actually make the trip down to the game and cheer on the Cherry and White. I personally think that would be nice to have, along with, of course, JJ, your Temple Diamond Band.
Well, Adam, the Owls solidified their bowl ticket last weekend when Tulane came to town. Both teams came in at 6-3. Getting that 7th win always moves teams from being bowl eligible to being bowl guaranteed. And the Owls welcome the Green Wave to Philly for the celebration of 150 years of college football.
Early on, it's Justin McMillan back to pass, but he's hit as he throws and the ball is loose. Recovered by Quincy Roche, who also forced the fumble on the play. The Owls get a field goal out of the drive to go up 3-0. The Owls are on the attack again, and it's Todd Centeo rolling to his left, finding Kenny Yeboah, who stretches the ball past the pylon for the score.
Tulane finally has answers in the second quarter as the half is closing. Cameron Carroll takes the ball up the middle near the goal line, but we need to pull the headsets out for this one. It goes under review and is eventually ruled a touchdown. One final push in the first half by the Green Wave. It comes up short. A huge play here by Aaron Monroe, who gets the interception in the end zone. Temple takes a knee and heads to the locker room on top 13-7.
Second half, and it's Russo now finding Kenny Yeboah yet again over the middle. 2 touchdowns on the day for the tight end, showing some muscle too, breaking tackles to find the end zone. Now it's a shuffle pass from Russo to Jaden Blue. Blue cuts back and turns on the jet for 16-yard TD. Blue led the team with 12 catches.
Well, right here, once again, up the middle, the O-line gets the push this time. Cameron Carroll with his second touchdown on the day. Tulane playing through the whistle, but here on 4th and 16 at the end of the game, a pass to Darnell Mooney. He drops the pass, and the game ends with Tulane turning it over on downs. Temple goes on to win 29-21.
Anthony Russo had 2 touchdowns and an interception. But quarterback number 2, Todd Centeo, also had a touchdown pass on the day, as you saw in those highlights. He threw for 76 yards on 4 of 6 passing in that drive alone. On the defensive side, Quincy Roche was more than a standout. He had 3 sacks and 6 tackles for loss, which set a conference record. He also received the AAC Defensive Player of the Week honor for his performance. And here comes a transition alert, guys. With more on the single-digit defensive end, we bring in OwlSports Updates' Andrea Malizia from the Plasma, talking about Roche and his record-setting day. Hey, Andrea.
Hi, Adam. Thank you. Over the past 2 games for the Owls, one defensive lineman has stood out above the rest because he's basically stood in opposing backfields all game long. Quincy Roche is setting records as of late, and against Tulane, he single-handedly changed the course of the game.
Offense was consistent. But it was the defense that helped secure the win against Tulane in the second half last Saturday. Redshirt junior Quincy Roche was a big reason. At 6'4", 235 pounds, Roche is a nightmare for any opponent on the other side of the line.
And he's playing at a high level right now, and I'm happy for him because he's a kid who just has kept improving every time that we went out to practice.
Well, I think everybody on the D-line's turned it up the last couple weeks. It makes it a lot easier when everybody's on the same accord.
Newly named single-digit defensive end, Quincy Roche has been explosive on the field for the past 2 weeks for Temple. With 3.5 sacks versus USF and then another 3 versus Tulane, his impact on the field has definitely been felt in the defensive end.
It's a common saying in football that sacks kill drives, and so if that's the best way to help the team out, then that's what I want to do.
The sacks, the tackles for a loss, add them up, and it should come as no surprise Roche was named the AAC Defensive Player of the Week, along with some other national recognition. And the Owls will need this effort to continue with just 2 regular games left in the American Conference.
Since he has given up 23 sacks this season, that ranks in the middle of the pack in the AAC. Maybe something Roche and company can take advantage of on Saturday. From Plasma, I'm Andrea Malizia. Adam and JJ, back to you.
Thanks so much, Adam. Well, Adam, all this football talk is making me feel like I just ate 2 full plates of Thanksgiving dinner, so let's take our first time out.
I'm right there with you. Thank you so much, Andrea. Right after the break, let's talk about some basketball, JJ, where Aaron McKee was on the road in this one with his Temple Owls for his first Big 5 matchup as a head coach. Steve Nate Pierre-Louis picked up his 4th consecutive double-double, plus women's hoops gets ready to say goodbye to the Huskies. All of that and more in 90 seconds. Welcome back to OwlSports Update. Temple traveled to LaSalle for its first Big 5 matchup of the season on Saturday. Early on, it's Nate Pierre-Louis coming up with a steal and finishing at the other end with a one-handed slam for 2. He was just getting started. LaSalle tries to keep up with the Owls. Here's the 3 from the top of the key by Saul Peary. He had 11 points on the day. but the Owls continue to pile it on. Here comes MPL again, driving the lane and getting the bucket plus the foul. This is Nate's 4th consecutive double-double dating back to last season. And how about Erasmus Parks? Here's 2 of his 7 points off the bench on the pick and roll with Q. Hey, and speaking of Q, here's a 3-pointer from the senior captain. Nothing but net from Quentin Rose, who had 18 points on the day, 3 of 5 from 3. LaSalle makes it close late. Here's Sharif Kenny connecting from deep, but it wasn't enough, guys. Temple wins this one 70-65. This is the first time in Temple basketball history that a coach has started out 3-0 in 77 years.
And really, our defense has been carrying us up to this point, and we want to continue to do that. And I just try to get the guys to understand to be disciplined when you're playing defense. If you impact them enough, you get up under their skin enough, they'll hand you the ball after a while. But we got some pretty good athletic guys that, you know, got good hands. And
it was just being active on defense. Coach preaches try to get deflections, be active with your hands, no fouls. So that's what we did. We got
OwlSports updates. Trey Pacharko was in attendance as the Owls picked up their 3rd win of the season on Saturday. He is now live at the Leah Kors Center with a history lesson for us all. Hey, Trey.
Hey, JJ. This past weekend marked a big accomplishment for Aaron McKee in the season's first. His first Big 5 win. One of many expected this season. For the 120th time, the men's basketball team has clashed with the LaSalle Explorers, this time at Tom Gola Arena, just up Broad Street. This game also marked the first of many Big 5 games for head coach Aaron McKee.
I didn't think about it until earlier this morning. And it never even crossed my mind that this was my first Big 5 game. You know, we talked about LaSalle all week, and then I just thought about it this morning. I got a text from one of my friends, hey, good luck on your first Big 5 game. And I was like, wow, it is my first, Big 5 game. It's cool, man.
The Owls hold the all-time series record with 78 wins to 42 losses, thanks to this past weekend's win. The Owls have won 17 of their last 21 games against the Explorers, dating back to 2007. However, last time they played at LaSalle, things did not go as expected for the Owls. 2 seasons ago in this arena, LaSalle beat Temple for their first loss of the season. This year, the Owls were able to get their revenge and secure Aaron McKee's first career Big 5 win.
I hate the fact that it was against one of my good friends, Ashley Howard, but he's competitive, I'm competitive, and I'll take it.
After beating another former Big 5 player turned coach in Ashley Howard, McKee has his team headed to Los Angeles this weekend at 3-0. McKee is also Temple's first head coach in 77 years to start his career with 3 straight wins. Other Big 5 rivals like Penn and Villanova lurk on the schedule, but it starts with St. Joe's on December 10th right here at the Leah Kors. Reporting live from the Leah Kors Center, I'm Trey Pacharka for OwlSports Update. Adam and JJ, back to you.
On to the women's side of the courts where the Owls took on Xavier inside the Leah Kors Center. Early on, it's Marissa Mackins scoring 2 of her 15 on the night with this drive to the basket. But you know what's better than 15? How about 23? Here, Ashley Jones connects from downtown from 3 of her game-high 23 points. Xavier Ariana Gray answers with a 3 of her own. She led her team in scoring with 22. But in the end, the Owls are too much to handle. Here, it's Rihanna Walker with the triple to help put this one away. The Owls win it in style, 78-65. They had 11 threes in this game.
Well, the women took the floor again on Sunday against UConn in what will likely be their final conference matchup in Philadelphia. UConn strikes early and draws a foul. The Huskies were 13 for 16 from the line in this one. Ashley Jones coming down the court now with speed. She dumps it in for 2 of her 9 points on the afternoon. Asana Alexander played 33 minutes in the game and drops this dime here on the outside. She had 11 points on the afternoon. Aubrey Griffin made a name for herself and helped UConn out with 9 points and 8 rebounds. Megan Walker got involved in the scoring on Sunday. She was one of 4 Huskies who scored in double digits, but as no surprise, UConn defeats Temple by a final score of 83-54.
In Sunday's loss to UConn, junior Mia Davis netted her 1,000th point as a Temple Owl. Her jumper in the third quarter of that game made her the 25th Temple women's basketball player to reach this plateau. Davis added 18 points in that game and is averaging 21.8 through the first 4 games of this season.
Well, Adam, how about the trifecta? After that game against UConn, the women took the court on Wednesday night against Bucknell for their 3rd game in 7 days. Ashley Jones and Mia Davis both continue to tear up offensively as the two posted 20-point-plus nights. With this win, the Owls' record improves to 4-2 overall.
JJ, after the win, the Owls can say goodbye to Bucknell, but they can also say goodbye to UConn, Sage, and from the American Athletic Conference.
We welcome in OwlSports Update Sage Hurley, who has more. Hey, Sage.
Hey, thanks, guys. Yes, Temple, like just about every other school, has never been able to get the best of the great Gino Auriemma and his UConn Huskies. Sunday was no exception. However, the Owls will not have to deal with the UConn dynasty for much longer.
Temple took another loss to UConn, an outcome the Owls and the rest of the AAC is somewhat used to. But this loss was different. It's the end of an era for these conference foes. This is the Huskies' final year in the AAC, which means this is the last time Temple and UConn will meet for a conference game. And for head coach Tanya Cardoza, that means goodbye to her old boss and mentor, Gino Auriemma.
I feel like the last couple of years when we've played them, we probably have been playing pretty good basketball, and then we end up playing them, and then it's like demoralizing and trying to get our players back up. It might take like 2 weeks for them, and felt like, maybe getting it out of the way early, you don't have that same kind of effect.
During their time in the AAC, UConn has not lost one single game here at the Liacouras Center. In fact, they haven't lost a conference game at all.
Despite the final score, Temple held its own for most of the game, trailing by only 10 at one point in the third quarter.
This is not an easy team to play against. They're quick at every position. They shoot the three really well.
So the fact that we were shot for shot, at some point you got to now feel good about yourselves and really lock in. Like, wait, we're right there. So now let's really focus and lock in on the defensive side. And I don't think we did that.
Temple will move on from this last meeting versus UConn to a week of firsts over fall break. The Owls will pack their bags and fly to Cancun, Mexico. They'll be playing on Thanksgiving Day for the first time in program history, and this is the first international trip since Coach Cardoza took over in 2008. They are scheduled to play against UNC on Thursday and Creighton on Friday. Reporting from desk, I'm Sage Hurley. Adam and JJ, back to you.
Thanks, Sage. Temple Hoops looks ready for the break, and so are we for break number 2 of our show.
When we return in 90 seconds, one Temple grad turns a missed putt into a life lesson and the memory of a lifetime.
I just hope that a lot more people would do the same thing in my situation. I don't think what I did was anything different than what other people would do.
Welcome back to OwlSports Update. Temple graduate Brandon Matthews competed in the Visa Open de Argentina this past week with a lot on the line. The winner earned a spot in the oldest major in golf, the Open Championship, and Matthews was right there. He had to sink an 8-foot putt on the 4th playoff hole to keep his hopes alive. In his backstroke, a yelp from the gallery behind him distracted Matthews, which led him to missing not only the shot, but the match and the chance of a lifetime, which would be playing in the major. Matthews showed his frustration after the shot, but later found out in the locker room from a tour official that the yelp came from a middle-aged man with Down syndrome. The former Owl immediately reacted and came back out of the locker room to meet the man. Matthews himself grew up around others with mental disabilities thanks to the work that his mom did. He gave the fan a signed glove, a ball, and most importantly, a hug to let the fan know that he did nothing wrong. The moment immediately went viral. Matthews lost the tournament, but he gained so much more.
Immediately when I found out the entire situation, went out, found the guy, signed the ball in a glove for him, and
gave him a big hug. I just wanted to make sure that he wasn't upset about the situation, and wanted to make sure that he remained a golf fan and just enjoyed himself throughout the day, and I didn't want him to have any other feeling.
So Matthews isn't headed to the Open Championship, but his finish in Argentina guarantees him a tour card for 2020, which is a very good news and good sign for the Temple grad.
Well, the volleyball team returned home for its final weekend of the season, taking on one of the hottest teams in the conference in UCF. Mirai Bullock-Bosch was able to get the kill here in the first set. Peyton Boyd now serving, and the Knights are able to control it and drop a shot in as Boyd tries to dig it. Bullock-Bosch is looking for magic down the line again, but instead UCF picks up a block. This one got ugly. Temple is swept in 3 sets to none for the 10th time this season.
On to the last match of the season, and Temple is taking on USF. Early on, the Bulls have the Owls backed up against the wall, up 2 sets to none. But here comes the cherry and white. It's Mirai Bullock-Bosch with the key block to keep the Owls' hopes alive. And then to win it, how about one more time from Mirai on the kill? Temple wins the match 3-2 right here. Watch it here. Mirai kills it for the Owls, sending them home with a win. They finish the season at 12-15.
Well, when we come back from break, our favorite segment will make a return.
Diamond Plays is back. Find out what the top 3 plays of the week are when OwlSports Update returns in 90 seconds.
Welcome back to OwlSports Update. Well, Adam, it's time that we share our favorite plays from this week in Temple Athletics. It's time for Diamond Plays. Let's start it out with Sal, where Nate Pierre-Louis stole it like a piece of pumpkin pie and slammed it home. Throw some Cool Whip on it. Nate Pierre-Louis, this one goes down for the highlight reel, Adam. What a slam from him. Let's take a look at it in slow motion.
Love to see it, JJ. Let's switch gears to the women's side of basketball. How about Mia Davis? And as we mentioned earlier in the show, this on her mid-range shot here was her 1,000th point of her career. Certainly a great milestone for Mia Davis, and Mia and the women's team are ready to head to Cancun over the break.
Congratulations to Mia, but our number 1 play comes from the gridiron and the AAC Defensive Player of the Week. Quincy Roche in on the quarterback like it's some of that precious turkey on Thanksgiving. He gets a hand on it for a strip sack and gobbles it up for the recovery to put the offense in the red zone and set them up for the score. Well, we might be saying goodbye to visit our families for Thanksgiving break next week, but that doesn't mean Temple Sports is on full stop. As we mentioned before, the women's team is headed down to Mexico, but they aren't the only basketball team headed to warmth and sunshine. The men's basketball team will be in Orlando to face 3 opponents in the Orlando Invitational.
The team will also take on USC this Friday in California before heading down to Florida. Temple football will finish its season on Saturday, November 30th against UConn. Kickoff is scheduled for 3:30 at the Link. And with that, it's time for us to say goodbye. But OwlSports Update will be back after the break to cover all things Temple sports. For JJ Mahowski, I'm Adam Cronali, guys.
And from everyone here at OwlSports Update, have a safe and happy Thanksgiving with your families. We'll see you next time.